Okay, here we go. Week before holiday break, here are some holiday fractiony mathy ideas for you. To start off with, I have math puzzlers to pick from. This is on the grade for Unit 3 plans, just so you know. First thing you could use throughout the week looks like this. These are some holiday puzzles from Greg Tang. And this first page, you right on the dotted lines would cut these out for the kids. There's 3 of them to try, so you could use 1 each day. I think they're really awesome because the kids are reading these through and then figuring out using their number sense and their math sense as to where the numbers should go. So for example, on this one, on Tuesday, it snowed how many inches? And on Wednesday, it snowed how many inches? Well, you'd have to use some of these numbers up here. But if you keep reading, it's going to tell you some more information to know kind of which numbers you should be choosing. There was times as much snowfall on Tuesday as there was on Wednesday. So I started out by putting 12 inches on Tuesday and 6 inches on Wednesday. And I'm like, oh, that works, because then I can use the 2 right here, because that would be 2 times as much snow on Tuesday as there was on Wednesday. But then it says it snowed inches total in the 2 days. So then I put, oh, great. Well, 12 plus 6, that doesn't equal 14, my last number. So I really had to think about it and switch the numbers around to get myself to, I really had to make sense of the problem. And I did not look at the answer key first. So I would challenge you to do the same, because if you scroll down, you will get the answers. So try to do it yourself first. Give yourself a challenge, because they're fun. Okay. Then another one from Greg Tang, and you've seen these before probably, is a Picto puzzle. So you're trying to figure out this final equation down at the bottom. And if you know the mitten is, so I wouldn't probably start with the first equation. I'd probably start with the third one, but you want to have them kind of go through this themselves. And not be giving them all sorts of hints right away. Let them struggle with it for a little while. And if this one seems too hard at first, I would start with some easier picture puzzles. And those are right here from Math Mashup that I've compiled for you. So this one will make them feel good about themselves, because here you can just start with the first equation and be like, okay, well, that has to be 2 and 2, because they have to be the same number. And then if I know that, then I can go to the second equation. If this is 2, then 2 plus what is 9? So that would be 7. So then 7 minus what is 3? And you can just go forth and kind of figure that one out nicely. So these kind of warm up your brain to get to a harder one. I even have one that looks like this, multiplication table. So for example, on this one, I could start with 3 times 2 is 6. So now I know the gingerbread house is 6. And if I know the gingerbread house is 6, then 6 times 3 gives me this little candy right here. So there you go. Those are some fun ones to do throughout the week. And then some ideas for some fractiony math activities. So I have 4 options, and then one more option is iReady. You could assign a lesson or a practice session with fraction activities. And I say this because maybe you didn't know you could assign things in iReady. I have been assigning my own groups a lesson each week. And so if I go to my, where do I go? Assess and teach, instruction. Where am I going? You know, sometimes I'm like, what? How do I do this again? And I do it every week. So let's say, so on my iReady homepage, I'm going to go to, I had to pause the video and tell myself every week I have to do this to myself. How did I do this again? So I'm going to go to assess and teach. Then I hit instruction. Then I go to personalized instruction. And once I get here, if I scroll down, here are all the assignments I could possibly do in iReady, and it starts with kindergarten. So I could go to grade 4 right here. And I could say, okay, what would I like them to practice? So I go through and I scroll through, and maybe right here it says find equivalent fractions. That's a lesson versus here, which is practice. So I might choose this one for them to do. And then I can see what it looks like by hitting practice, and it'll go through it for me. And I can see what it looks like. I can show the kids what it looks like. And then to assign it to them, I'm going to go ahead and click this box, go scroll back up, assign the lessons, and I could assign it to my class and click next, find my class, assign it. And it'll come right up when it pops, when iReady pops up for them. They're going to see their own side, which iReady like figures out what they could be working on based on their diagnostic. And then on the other side, it'll say teacher assignments, and it'll have yours right there. So I like using that feature. So I thought I'd show you. Option 1 for fractioning math activities. We have the Christmas tree fraction activity. The picture is pretty self-explanatory on what you could do. Giving the kids some fraction strips, and they go ahead and make a Christmas tree out of it. Doesn't necessarily have to be the fractions that are in this picture. This does cost money, this template. So what I did is I just made my own fraction strips from somebody else's site. So here are some that you could print off and in green, and then they could be labeling them, because I thought it would be better to have them label them with the fractions, and then they make their fraction tree however they want. Option 2, make some holiday-ish things with pattern blocks. I have loads and bunches of pattern blocks. If you'd like to do that, here's some templates of some ideas, or you just put up a list of ideas that kids could be making. Can anyone make an ornament or a reindeer or a snowflake or a Christmas tree or a Santa out of the pattern blocks? Then you can make it fractiony by playing a game with the pattern blocks. So go ahead and read about the game here if you're interested. That's the game board you could print off, and you'll need a spinner and pattern blocks. Okay, option 3, snowflakes with fractions. You could check this out. This activity right here I thought was really cool. They are starting with a square, so you can read through and see. But if I come down here to number 2, snowflake fractions, here is them, and they're making their folds, and then they're making one cut. Now, it doesn't just have to be a triangle. They might do some sort of cool looking design. And then they're going to try to figure out how much of the square did they cut out? Like, how much are all those little pieces worth? So then they're going to trace and try to figure out how much of a fraction of the original square is that cut out part. So you can read about it. It looks pretty cool to do, and link it to snowflakes. Another idea. This one I did with my 5th graders just yesterday. I did one part of it, and I got this idea from Emily. She told me that she was doing some snow math with her groups, and so I'm sharing it with you. Here is, if you want to do some snow math, some snow division, you might have this snow going on the whiteboard or on the smartboard as you do it. It's so calming. So this is what I did in 5th grade. I wrote the following on the board. So for example, this is what I did on the whiteboard, but I'll just do it on my smartboard file. So I'm like, okay, you guys, it's like we're hoping for even more snow, right? And snow comes from these clouds, right? Clouds, and it's snowing. So let's have it snowing. And so the snow is coming from the clouds, and it drifts all the way down and then finally hits the ground, right? Well, the clouds that it comes from actually have a name. They're called nimbostratus clouds. There it is right there. And those clouds are way up high in the sky. There that it is. The altitude of those clouds are between 6,500 and 23,000 feet up high. So I just wrote the minimum value there, 6,500 feet. And then the other part of this is that, yeah, that's way up there. And the snowflakes are falling. You think they fall like really slow. Well, they're actually falling 2 to 5 feet per second. So I had my 5th graders snap out 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds. And then we went 2 feet, 2 feet, 2 feet. And we looked at 2 rulers together combined. That's 2 feet. The snowflake every second is falling that far. So how long is it going to take for that snowflake to hit the ground if it's falling 2 to 5 feet per second? So that was the question. So of course, it's going to take division. So then as the snow is falling on the smartboard screen, we're taking 6,500 and dividing it by 2. But when we did that, we ended up getting 3,500, I think. Let me see. I have to do the math again. So I had 6,000, and then I had 500, and then I went 4. That's 400 times 2 is 800. 2. Oh, never mind. So 2, that's 400, and then I got 100. So it'll take 3,250 seconds. But again, that really, in my mind, I can't figure out what that means. It's just a lot of seconds. So then I'm like, okay, well, there's 60 seconds in a minute. So now let's take this and divide it by 60. Now, if they're already not with you, then you could take a calculator and take 3,250 and divide it by 60. And then we see that it takes about 54 minutes, which is really close. If there's 60 minutes in an hour, pretty much an hour for that snowflake to travel down to the ground from the lowest cloud. Yeah, so that was pretty amazing. Really cool stuff, right? And then other snow things, if you're interested, you can read through some other cool snow stuff. Okay? All right, that's what I got for you for this next week into the holidays. Good luck. May the math force be with you.